When we read the Quran, we get the impression that God is very offended by what we call shirk, or associating partners with God, belief and worship of other entities other than one and true, one and only God. This is very interesting why this is so. I mean, it's very important that Muslims believe in a merciful God, but it seems that when it comes to worshipping things other than God, God is deeply offended. And in one verse, for example, chapter 22, verse 31, God says, whoever associates partners with God as if he fell down from the sky, wild praise of birth snatched him away, and the wind blows him to an abysmal ditch. This is very strong language. And in another verse, chapter 4, verse 116, God says that associating partnership with God, or worshipping, belief and worship of entities other than one and only God, is the only unforgivable sin. The verse says that God forgives all sins except that. Naturally, we need to have a caveat here that if it's repented, also the committing of associating partnership with God is also forgiven. But the assumption, as Muslim scholars say, that if somebody dies in that state, that will not be forgiven. Now, why is this so? Why is God so offended by when people worship other than God, things other than God? I can explain this when we look at the universe and the way it is. Now, when we look at the universe, it is designed to produce life. Just think about it, a vast, expansive universe with 200 billion galaxies. It took 14 billion years to get to where we are in the universe. So all of that time, all of that expanse is designed to produce life. Even from the moment of Big Bang, the whole universe was designed to produce life. And then when we come down to Earth and look at all the life forms out of millions of species of animals and plants, all of that supports human life. I discussed this in another video about the significance of that. Now, I don't mean to reduce the rest of the environment and beings, but the reality is that the human beings at the pinnacle of the life on Earth, and all of that life is there to support life. Or without that life, human life would not exist. Now, when we look at zoom on to human being, in that other video, I demonstrated that we add nothing physical to the environment, and the only thing that we can really give back to the creation, back to the universe, is our recognition of its maker and our worship. So the most valuable thing, the most valuable outcome of the universe is the human worship, human belief and worship. Now, when that's directed to anything other than one and only true God, it renders the entire universe to futility. It's a bit like, let's say, a farmer. A farmer plows the land, prepares the land. It takes months, then carefully plants seeds and irrigates the land, and then waits for it to grow, cultivates and nurtures the crop. And then when the time comes to harvest, some other people come and take all the harvest away. Wouldn't that farmer be angry and quite deeply offended and really go after these thieves, in a way, who take away all his effort, all his work? Certainly he would. Anybody would. So in a way, when God creates this universe, prepares human life, supports human life, and then when it comes to harvest, the most valuable thing out of this universe, which is human worship, when that's directed to things and beings other than one and only true God, he's deeply offended and quite upset. And I'm using that in a sacred way. So this is why the Quran is really strong against shirk, or associating partnership with God, or belief in entities or idols and worshipping them is deeply offensive to God, and this will be the only, according to Islam, unforgivable sin if somebody dies in that state. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel of Theology of Quran.